Okay, good morning folks, Alan Hillson here again from Pipers'Persuasion, and looking at the date of this is 20th of September, got the month right, 2018. We've got another chapter or whatever on the Pipers'Persuasion this morning, and we're in, I nearly said sunny Alexandria. It's not made up its mind. There was a big storm yesterday. Storm Alley. Anyway, it hasn't arrived here yet today, and if it stays off the next hour, we'll have some light in the situation. Who are we interviewing today? Donald MacPhee at his home, very kindly. Thanks very much for welcoming me here this afternoon. Well, it is this afternoon, and at one time we're finished.
Pleasure.
In Alexandria, which is next to Balloch, which is just past Govan. Okay.
Loch Lomond.
Near Bonnie Loch Lomond. How many miles are you away from Loch Lomond?
You can be at Loch Lomond probably in about 3 miles.
Okay, that's not bad.
No, it's
not bad. We're on the verge of the Scottish Highlands.
Exactly.
So anyway, we're here to get a lot of information out of Donald, and we'll cover a lot of ground because we're finishing up with reed making, but we're going to start off with where he came from, USA, cover solo piping, various other bits and pieces to do with piping, possible composition CDs, teaching, and moving on to pipe bands, the Scottish Power and FM and any others that we catch in the net, and further that developed into judging pipe bands latterly, and judging solos. And another string to the bow is playing for Highland dancing, a most difficult subject, one that I gave up many years ago, entirely frustrating. I'd rather police a Rangers and Celtic game than play for Highland dancers, can I tell you. We'll get into that. Anyway, enough of my blabbing here. We're just going to open the conversation now. Welcome, Donald.
Thank you very much,
Persuasion.
Thank you.
Can you tell me, where were you born?
Yeah, I was born in Michigan in the United States of America, and
what state's that?
Michigan. Michigan, that's
right.
The state.
Okay, right.
Dearborn, Michigan, which is the world headquarters of the Ford Motor Company.
No.
So if you're ever on a TV quiz show,
yeah,
you'll be able to answer that question. The world headquarters for Ford Motor Company.
Detroit?
Dearborn, Michigan.
Aye, but it's Detroit and that.
It's a suburb of Detroit, that's correct.
There we go.
Yeah.
So not that bad.
No.
And how about Chicago? Where's that?
Chicago's west of there and on the other side of the Great Lakes. So
is that a different state? No,
it is, yeah, that's in Illinois.
Is it?
It is, huh?
Yeah, okay.
Well,
quiz program. That's the answers, folks.
But the way that I wound up being born in Michigan was all 4 of my grandparents came from Scotland, and 2 from the island of Lewis, 1 from Ploughton, and 1 from South Uist. My mother's side of the family came from Lewis, and after World War I, there wasn't much opportunity in this country. And the oldest son got the croft. So basically, if you weren't the oldest son,
yeah,
you needed to find ventures anew.
Yeah.
So on my mum's side of the family, my grandfather immigrated to Ontario as a tenant farmer, which means that a farm over in Ontario pays his way over. He serves his time, whatever that fee was, as far as just as far over there. He serves his time. Once his time's finished, then he's free to do whatever he wants.
Typically, how many years was that?
You know what? I don't know.
See, I read a recent article. Somebody's looking for a family from Scotland or wherever to go over and do some similar, maybe Cape Breton. We're talking about 3 years or something. You know.
Well, I think it may have been subsidized a wee bit by the Canadian government because of the fact that they were looking for people to work there, and they were looking as far as workers in that country.
So where did they go to?
To Ontario. I don't know exactly
somewhere
the farms.
in Ontario.
Yeah. I don't know exactly the farms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My other grandfather did as well, and just I'm talking about my mum's.
Okay, yeah.
My mum's mum and dad right now, and then laterally my grandmother. She immigrated right to Detroit, and she was sponsored by somebody saying that basically if this person comes into the country, then they won't be a burden on the government. So anyway, that's how the one side came over. The other side basically the same way. Both my grandmothers were housekeepers for wealthy individuals, let's say. Right. And then my dad's dad, who was the piper, who came from South Uist, he came over as a tenant farmer. And once you served your time, you either went on the boats in the St. Lawrence Seaway or the Great Lakes if you wanted to. If you wanted
moved
to do that.
To where?
He went to Detroit because
Detroit direct.
Yeah,
okay.
Both my grandfathers did. The big boom in industry at that time was the automobile industry.
Okay.
And both my grandfathers.
What decade are you talking about?
This would be the 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. So the early 20s. My grandfather MacPhee, he came down to Glasgow first. He was only 5'8". And I say that because of the fact that Johnny Rochen was recruiting at that time as far as pipers to come into the band, and you had to be 6 foot in these days in order to play.
John MacDonald, the pipe major, the City of Glasgow Police.
That's correct. And so the apparently, according to my dad, the guys who were really good players but weren't tall enough played in the Glasgow Transport Band.
Aye.
And all the ones that were beyond 6 foot became police officers.
Well, it's actually 5'10" and a half.
Oh, at that time was it 5'10" and a half? Oh,
yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I was told 6 foot, but there you go. My grandfather was 5'8" and had a 21-inch neck, so he was a
sturdy.
Yeah. Well, they were known as the Boxers in South Uist, and had quite a relationship, a physical relationship. With the Morrisons. So I remember Rona. I remember Rona Lightfoot telling me, she says there's stories that your father would that your grandfather would come through to one of the Morrison boys and say, "Morrison, what size is your neck?" And then from there, it went outside, and it was a form of. A form of fun. It was a form of it wasn't you think of fighting as just hate versus good or whatever or anything else like that, and it was just after having a couple of beers and stuff like this, well, let's get after it and let's go. So, and that would be Fred's family. So they were in Garnish, and then my grandfather came from Garnish. So
now you're talking about young Fred Alfred.
Yes.
Morrison.
Yes.
His father was Fred, who was the schoolmaster.
That's right. Yeah.
And so would it be his father, or would it actually be Fred?
It would be a relation. It would be a relation. When I wasn't smart enough and asked in order to ask Rona. It was one of these things.
I've got to ask these tough questions.
No, it was one of these things where the heat of the moment when she said that, everybody kind of laughed, and I never said, now which Morrison was that? It just would have, I don't know, wouldn't.
Interesting. Now we know the Morrisons' piping history to a certain extent, because I've already interviewed Fred Morrison.
Yeah.
Alfred was his, but he's known as Fred Morrison.
Yes.
And you'll need to go to that interview, and you'll learn more about his forebears. But we're still on about the MacPhees here.
Well,
now,